All is well. Hello, and welcome to Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Work Show. We are live on the newstreamingnetwork.com, home of goingboldmedia.com, goingsolomedia.com, and WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. Thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Judy Forder, and we invited you to this show. And our topic today is change is going to do you good. So, people that have been watching us, Chris and I, for the past year, we took a little hiatus. We took a little break because in this huge collective shift we've gone through, it became clear to us that Chris, her mission is to go off and continue to create for Masterful You. And I'm sure she'll be back at some point to tell us what beautiful creations she has and what's happening at Masterful You. And then it became clear that we were being called to take the show in a different direction. So we spent the past year, it was interesting because on Facebook Memories, it came up. On May 25th last year, we did our first show. So almost a year later, here we are. I'm calling it season 2. And we have some exciting changes coming down. And first and foremost, we want to welcome and thank Janice for agreeing to join me on my quest to share that peaceful empowerment truly does work.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so I've asked Janice if she could sit beautifully and quietly while I say wonderful things about her to introduce her to you all. So, Janice, it's funny because I took some notes here and I was like, the first thing I had to do is find another host. And I asked Janice, and right away she was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I was like, cool, that's fantastic. Janice has spent her career in the human services field. She has a bachelor's degree in communication theory and a master's degree in human service administration. While on her healing journey to become whole, she has acquired certifications in Reiki, sound therapy, and light work. She is currently working toward becoming a certified life coach. And all the beautiful people out there watching, it is my honor to introduce you to my new co-host in peace, Janice Leonard.
Hey! Thank you, Judy. It's so good to be here. I've been watching you for a year and love what you're doing, and I've been on this journey with you, so I'm just glad to be part of it now.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Is there anything that I did not say that you would like to share with our listeners about you?
I guess the biggest thing is the amazement that I'm actually here. Because when I started this working with Judy a year ago, I would never have done this. Never, ever would imagine doing this. But through the past year, I've tried to figure out who I am and find out who I want to be, who my core is, and get rid of some of the anxiety and the self-esteem issues and try to be present and be true to myself. And when you asked me, I'll be darned if I didn't just feel like, yeah, I think this would be good. It would be good for me now, and I can do this, and I want to do it. And hopefully together we can make a difference. And that's really what we want to do, is hopefully someone will watch and they'll click and they'll feel a little better today, or understand themselves better, or find a little more peace. And that's what we're about.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. And another big change is the Be Here Now. Be Here Now, Peaceful Empowerment Work Show. I felt that coming back with a new look and a new mission, it was important for us to have a more expanded name. I guess we could call it an expanded name. And Be Here Now is important because we have learned, Janice and I have learned, and anybody who has joined Chris and I over the past year, hopefully has learned that, being present, choosing to be here now with us is a gift, not only to us, but to you. So Be Here Now means you are present, And when people are present, we can expand our perception and our perspective. And then that allows peace. That allows us the foundation to invite in peace. So in that, Janice and I thought it was important to switch up the format of the show as well. We've spent the past year, Chris and I, introducing you to Masterful You, the map, and how that tool and process has worked in many different life experiences, situations, and how it has, of course, worked for us in those experiences and situations. And in the growing and evolving of the show and the growing and evolving of Chris and I and the introduction of Janice, we've come to realize, and it was something that we knew all along, but there are many different pathways to peace. And what Janice and I would like to do with our show is use it as a platform to introduce and expose to our listeners and our followers as many of those pathways to peace as we can. Because, what brings Janice peace may not bring me peace. What brings me peace may not bring you peace. So our goal is to expose you to as many as we can, see what aligns with you, see what you're willing to explore and experiment with, and throw the rest away.
And have some fun.
Exactly. And that is something that is mandatory for Janice and I, because whenever we work together, whenever we are together, there's a lot of laughter. A lot of laughter. So we thought a great way to go about this would be to break the show up into segments. And one of our segments that we came up with, because, the world seems to be educated and inspired through memes.
Yeah.
So
sadly, it's true.
yes. So our first segment in this beautiful world of change is, what's that meme to you? And if our producer would put that graphic up for us. That's the end. So what's that meme to you? In this segment each week, Janice,
there you go.
There we go. Beautiful job. Janice and I will each select a meme that struck us funny or inspired us or allowed us to feel some kind of way. And then we're going to share that meme with you. And we're going to see what it means to you. Because again, everybody interprets things through their own filter. So my meme for this week, for our first show, is, I'm not as mean as I could be. And I want people to be more grateful for that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. So, I read that and it made me laugh out loud. And it's true in the fact that before I launched into this healing work, I had anger and rage issues. So it is very, very true that I have the potential to be more mean than I am. And my daughter laughed and said, "Mom, that's so true." Maddie was like, "It's hilarious, but it's true."
I couldn't believe it when I met you to find out that you had a history of not being nice. I love the fact that you have that part of you in you, though, and you present yourself and you are totally different now, but it's part of you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and every once in a while, if you're messing with my kid, that mean will come out. That mama bear definitely roars. But yes, whereas I used to spend the majority of my time right on that little edge of rage, now it's rarely visited, which has been a really good change for me. So does that meme have any meaning for you, Janice?
It means that I am so grateful that you are who you are today. Because you've been great to work with. Not only that is one of the things about you is you make me feel comfortable. Right from day one, I joined this group. It was online kind of, I'll call it a support group, and I could say anything, and you made me feel like it was okay. I was okay who I was, and I love that, especially for you, because I also love the fact that you have a tough side, which, is an everyday part of you, but that I never had. So getting to see how you have it and have gone through it to this place and is really meaningful to me and great, makes me grateful. That also because it's the opposite of me. I never went, well, my kids wouldn't agree necessarily, but in general, I didn't go to the mean place. I just went into the you know, self belittling place. I love that.
Well, thank you. Okay. And let's see what your meme is for this week. Bing.
I found a couple, and don't ask me to say the name of the person who said this.
I was like,
but
I cannot say that name.
but to be beautiful means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You need to accept yourself. This really is good. I liked it because it encapsulates a lot of what I've been working on in the past year. I definitely had especially coming off of my career jobs, I had very low self-esteem, and I've struggled with that my whole life. But so it doesn't take much to get me down again. But yeah, I was there, and I certainly struggled with seeing myself beautiful. But the transitioning from that to, does it matter? What does it matter as long as you feel okay with who you are? And getting to be okay with who you are is no easy feat. And so that's what I worked on in the past years. I don't care. I'm working on this to be accepted by everybody. I just want to accept myself. And I think it's very symbolic to me being here.
Mm-hmm.
That I've started to accept myself, because this is not in my old life, this is not a natural state of acceptance of myself that I would put myself out here like that. So that's why that meme spoke to me for sure as I started this journey today.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was thinking when Janice sent it to me. It was like, wow, look at how far you've come. Because your goal when I met you was just to be kind to yourself. Just to start treating yourself with some kindness and respect. And that, you have come so far, you've worked so hard, and acknowledge so many conflicts in your life, and you have brought those conflicts to a place of peace. And there's nothing more evident and validating than you being here today. Yeah. We were laughing before the show. I was like, a year ago, Janice would have looked at me and said, hell no.
A year ago, I didn't want to talk in that group.
Exactly.
I just sat back thinking, mm-hmm. I can listen and support other people. I do that well. But don't do that.
And that is true as well. You
Yeah.
do hold space very well.
Yeah, the whole environment that you provided, and I hope we can provide anyone here, is that wherever you're coming from, whoever you are, whatever you're bringing to this table today, we love you the way you are. And it's great the way you are. And we hope you can appreciate yourself the way you are more every day, because it doesn't matter what other people think, as long as you feel peace inside and you accept yourself.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. So the next thing we thought would be important is to share some good news, because, there's so much craziness in the world right now. There's a lot of challenges that are happening, and, things that we once thought were solid foundational truths are kind of crumbling before us. And we're inundated. I don't know about you all, but inundated with negativity all the time. So Janice and I want to bring little good news. We sure could use a little good news today. So, Salvia, if you could go.
I think one of the things a year ago, if we just use that as a turning point for me, is we just got done the COVID. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who really isolated and really got to a place where I didn't talk. I did shut down because, actually going to work and seeing people and people who maybe care about you, and that wasn't there. And not only that, it's just going to the store. You get the mask on and you're looking down, and all of a sudden I noticed I wasn't even looking at people and talking to people. So
Hmm.
that whole transition, and what we had around us, and we still have, is that negative messaging. Negative messaging. You know, everything's what's wrong with everything, and it just that it really was part of what put me in a really bad place. Is not having that kind of positive support, because I believe that life can be good, and I believe in people are good and they have all goodness in them and they can offer that. So that's another thing I just want to say I appreciate about even this next section and what we're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah. There, I laugh because the whole time I was thinking about, you know, the shows and the segments and all that kind of stuff. I felt like almost every segment had a song attached to it. And I grew up in a world where for everything. And I know that there's a country song that one of the lines is, "We sure could use a little good news today."
Yes.
So
We got to be careful with singing because I do sing songs sometimes. I'm going to
careful.
apologize up front, or oh, well, I'm going to honor you up front by telling you that.
That's right. You're gonna honor us with the
That's right.
Okay. So, Salvio, if we could have that next slide, please. There we go. Perfect. And we're each going to share a story each week too. So, I believe Janice will be sharing her good news story for this week first. If we could click.
Okay. I think we got another visual right
There we
now.
go.
Good.
Good news update
Well,
from the desk of Janice.
yes. I, I actually honestly never much went on Facebook over a year ago. And it's been more in the past year I started going. And again, you get a lot of messaging that you want to see and messaging you don't want to see. And I like this one. It spoke to me. And I don't know if you saw this story, but I think I saw it on Facebook. It's about a woman who, you bring up your kids. You just hope that they're going to be good people. You try to be a good person, and you do the best you can. And then in this world and chaos, her daughter saw this person sitting there. And her daughter went up to this person and was asking what's up, what's going on, and talked to this person and helped them. That's her story. It's about how her daughter did that. And what was impactful is she's saying, wow, I did good. I guess I did good. And as a parent, it's that's another place that you want to beat yourself up, maybe. I'm just assuming I'm not the only one. What I could have, should have done better. And there are moments when you got to say, I did do things well. I did do some things well. And there you go. This woman, it just made me remember that at that moment where, I've got a wonderful kids. And I guess there are things I did do well. And I'm sure you all have stories, or if you're like me, I focus on all the things I did wrong, which is I'm trying to get away from. And let me tell you, this is what we did right. That's what I'm sharing.
Yeah, that's perfect. And when I read it, Janice sent it to me. Yeah, the daughter told her mother to stop the car because it was hot outside, and there was an elementary school kid or a younger kid sitting by a tree. That's what the picture's all about. And it was interesting because the girl made a point not to get too close to him so he didn't feel threatened. It was like she had this great awareness of not getting too close. She didn't want him to feel threatened, asked if there was somebody he could call. He only knew his dad's phone number, so she gave him her phone so he could call it, and then told him to go sit up by the Rite Aid. There was a Rite Aid right there. Go sit up by the Rite Aid, get away from the street. We don't want anybody to grab you. And he moved, and when she got in the car, she looked at her mom and said, "We're going to sit here until he gets picked up because it's hot out and he might need some water."
Yeah.
So it was great that she had that awareness not to roll up on him, not to force anything. She went up very gentle. And it's funny because you see the parental validation in this story, which was great. I see that too. But I also see hope. This story gave me hope for our future because, as corny as it sounds, I believe the children are our future.
Teach them well and let them lead the way. That's
Exactly.
right.
And this is, just more proof that there's so much good going on out there. So
Yeah,
much good. And when we see this behavior out of our youth, it really does give me hope for the future.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I love that story. I
Thank
love it. Yes. Now, me on the other hand, I went and I was reading this
you.
article about a Canadian farmer, and I am terrible about, giving wrap ups about things. But some of the high points that stuck out to me was there was this farmer that in 2020, he ended up with like an excess of 200,000 pounds of potatoes. And he's from Canada, and he was like, what in the world? I could put them back in the fields or turn them over and use them as fertilizer. I could harvest them and let them spoil, or I could donate them. He had no idea how to donate 100,000 pounds of potatoes.
No.
Yeah. So oddly enough, you mentioned the challenges of COVID. It was during COVID that the world shut down. So how was he going to get these potatoes to where they needed to be, to the people that needed them? And there was an organization, a nonprofit that was created out of the struggles of the world shutting down, based in California, called FarmLink. And somebody put him in contact with this FarmLink. And since 2020, they have been able to rescue and distribute over 100 million pounds of food from going to waste from various farmers, because that's what
Wow.
they do. Farmers contact them, and then they put the farmers in contact with the food banks
Mm.
first, in their area, and then they raise money to cover shipping costs. So, I mean, what a beautiful thing to come out of such a challenging time. And
Wow.
yeah, I can't help but believe there are millions of more stories like that we just aren't aware of. So, anybody who's not watching the show and you're listening, I simply go to Good News Network. I Google it. And when I need an uplift, I need to be inspired, I need to stop feeling like the world's going to hell in a handbasket and there's nothing we can do. I need proof of good stuff happening. I'll go to Good News Network and see what I can find. So, we're not getting any money for plugging their website, but that's a great resource to find some feel good, inspiring stories.
Oh, that's great. When
Yeah.
you think about excess food and you think about even like in your own homes, I hate throwing away food.
Mm-hmm.
We do. There's people who don't have food in our country, in our neighborhood, in our world. And to be able to figure out a way, I mean, that was an easy way to figure out how to move a million potatoes. But to
Exactly.
make the effort to do that, and hopefully we can all do that in our homes. You get something that's going to go, can it go to the food shelf? Can it go to a local food shelf? Can it go to who knows where? Let's look up Good News Network. Who knows? But, we can all make a little difference like that. Cleaning out the cupboards, excess. We have, so many of us have so much, and so
Yes.
many don't. It'd be great. That is such a great thing. I'm impressed, and I want to do the same.
Celebrate, celebrate. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So, we're about 20 minutes in, and we need to run a commercial right now. So we're going to step away for a brief commercial break, and we'll be back. And we're back live at Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Work Show. I'm Judy Forder, and I'm here with my co-host in peace, Miss Janice Leonard. And we are moving right on to the topic for today. Of course, we've been addressing it. Oh, hello, we have a
Thanks,
comment.
Dan.
I love the good news stories. Looking forward to this series, since the mainstream news focuses on bad news all the time. Amen to that, sister.
You got that right.
And thank you for being here with us.
And really feel free to make any comments, suggestions. We want to make this for you. We want to make this work for you. We want this to be meaningful for you. Please, even if you just email us, which will give information at the end of the show. We're open. We want to be there for you. Please comment during the show, after the show. Give us feedback. Anything. What would you like?
Yes, and we're going to be posting the memes on our Facebook page. So we'd love to hear if how they sit with you. If you and what is your interpretation of the meme as well? So, all right, moving along to the topic of today. Again, a song. Change is going to do us good.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about pathways to peace. Pathways to peace. And Janice talked a little bit about, her journey over the past year, and a little bit about what the process of her saying yes to the show and the fact that she's here. But I am interested in hearing the in-between, from the yes to the here today. Because I know for me, there's been a huge shift and just a shitball of change from the last time you saw us on the show to today. So pathways to peace. Janice, what was your process? From the moment I asked you and you said yes, was there ever an oh shit moment?
Good question. I probably use a different word.
Okay, use whatever
it's
word.
Interesting. It's really interesting because this is just not me that I knew, and I kind of felt okay with it, which was so weird. Because I feel like, in my trying to accept who I am and be at peace with myself and where I'm going, I had to be present, which I really struggled with. And I had to be here now. Personally, I had a hard time getting up in the morning before. What's the point of getting up? Mm. Now I have a point. I have a purpose. Maybe I can actually share something. I can show something. I can Judyize something. We can just laugh and have some fun. And that just felt good. And it's so bizarre to me that I didn't get too, there were a few times I got wound up enough, but I didn't get too wound up. And the hardest part, believe it or not, was telling my family.
Really?
I imagine I'm going to be honest about how I feel and some of the journeys I've been on and some of the ways I've made it through things. And that's going to involve my family. And my family does not talk. My family of origin, we do not talk. Mm-hmm. And my family now, we're not big sharers. I am. But I've always been the black sheep of the family because I have been the one to talk. But my family doesn't. So I kind of just hinted a little bit, and I didn't get a reaction. I thought I'd get a, what? Oh, well, you don't mind? Okay. So I guess they're not minding. But that was hard. I grew up, we had secrets. Mm-hmm. You can't tell the stories. You can't do that. And I guess I've come a ways with my family in that they didn't do that. They asked me to make sure I don't maybe say names or something, but that's okay. You can figure it out if you really wanted to. But
when you know, you know.
Yeah, but that's okay. And so I had peace with it, and when my family accepted it, and that whole thing of accepting yourself and who you are, the fact that I thought there was this big, huge barrier, which was my family and acceptance of it, the fact that it wasn't there was just weird. It's and even my brother, who I love my brother, he's the best in the world, but he does not talk feelings. And I waited to tell him, and I just oh, look what I'm doing. And, he just said, I'm anxious to see it. I'm anxious to see what you got to say. So it was beautiful. It was so validating in that time.
Mm-hmm.
That and to not be really scared today. That was the thing. Because I couldn't do this if I was in my scared place, which you can call zone one. You can call flight or fight or freeze, which I'm a freezer. And I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it in any meaningful way, positive way, and be myself if I was in the scared place.
Right.
So I had to, okay, it's okay. Who am I? Who do I want to be? And I had to really focus in on, I did turn 60 last year. And I said, okay, so my gift to myself is I'm wise. I'm wise now. I can give myself permission to be wise.
Wow.
I do have something to offer. I am wise. I've been through a lot in my life and I've come out the other side. I'm wise. So that's kind of what I've been saying to myself as we went through the last month. It's okay. I'm going to be myself and I'm going to make a difference maybe. I'm wise. So that was the two biggest challenges were my family, which was not a barrier, and amazingly, and myself, because, come on, if you're going to be on a show that could be seen around the world, who's not going to be nervous? I am nervous. I'm not going to tell you I'm not nervous. I am nervous. But I'm able to still be here, be present, and not go to that place where I just, not that I can do, I did a lot of trainings in that, and I can do the automatic mode. Okay, so I'll say the things I want to say, and I can say it, nicely with meaning, but I'm not really present when I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what this is. It is a growth for me, such a big growth and great opportunity. And I hope that this can reach some of you and you can be part of this. And also feel free to share things too. Let us know. We'll have you as a guest speaker. Who cares? We're just here for you. Well, maybe we should pre-record it just in case. That's not open, but no. Yeah. So that's the journey since the yes to today is keeping my nerves and telling my family.
Yeah, you've done a great job. Let me tell you, because you provided some affirmations for yourself. I'm here. I'm going to be myself. I have wisdom to share. Beautiful. Pushing outside that comfort zone. Outstanding. Recognizing the fact that you can't be in fight or flight. So I don't want to say forcing yourself, inviting yourself to remain present. What a gift. Yeah. What a gift.
Yeah, that was not easy. Not easy at all.
No.
And I have to be my authentic true self to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how often, because when I was working, I think I was close, but all my coworkers, but it was always anxiety about work, or there was this stuff out there. It was not necessarily about this stuff in here. Who gets to talk about this stuff in here in their day-to-day life? Mm-hmm. And I certainly don't think I did. Anyone can correct me if they think I have, but it's huge. It's so new. It's new, but in doing it, I could find that peace.
Yeah. And that's amazing. It right there.
Amazing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful that, whereas you laughed about it before we started the show. I don't like change. And that's something that, it was one of the things you declared when we first met. You don't like change. Yeah, my dear.
That's right. Oh, and the older you get, the worse it is.
I have to argue and tell you, I think you're starting to like change.
Don't let anybody know.
I mean, just your willingness to be here and to allow others outside of our group to see Janice.
Yeah.
The true essence of Janice is such a gift.
And even as I'm here, every once in a while I flow to, I wonder if someone's listening, if they heard that. Oh, no. You have to, you can't even just float off. You have to be present to do this.
Yeah. You do. You very much do.
And thank you, anybody who's watching and listening, because this is great. Thanks.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been a journey for me too. I mean, leading up to it has been interesting because the shifts and the changes were happening behind the scenes, and it was like going through a grieving period because
Mm.
Chris and I were in that groove and we were doing things and it felt good, but it got and this is what I've realized over this break, it got comfortable. And
Yeah.
in that being comfortable, I agree. Janice is doing great. Thank you, Cece.
Oh, everyone can see that, huh? That wasn't a little chat just to me.
You're doing awesome. Great. Oh,
Thank you.
Jen's back with a great job, ladies. Thank you. So yeah, it was like a little grieving process I went through because shit, it was like peaceful. The show was peaceful. It had gotten to that place where it was in flow and blah 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 blah. And I have discovered that in that place, um, I was telling Jen actually that I have realized that as we all have the understanding that we heal in layers. We also experience peace within those layers, which I never really acknowledged because I'm working toward peace. I'm working toward peace. I need more peace in my life. Well, first of all, I realized over the first year doing the show, I didn't even know what the hell peace felt like or what it looked like. And when it was there, I was thinking it was boredom or I should myself in those peaceful times instead of just allowing myself to rest and really kind of bathe in the beauty of that peace. So the show was the perfect example to me where I had gotten comfortable and it was very peaceful and it was very flowy. And then it didn't with the shifts that Chris was guided to make and the fact that everything was changing, it was like, what in the world? And then when I could reach out and ask Janice if she wanted to be a part of the show and she said yes, I was like, yes. Okay. All right. Now, we can do the show differently. We can restructure it and we can do this and we can do that. And that was exciting. And then all of a sudden, it was like all creativity was sucked out of my body. And I kept telling myself, okay, I just need to trust and be patient. I just need to trust and be patient. But there was another part of me that's screaming like, oh my God, we only have 4 weeks to get this together. And then it was, oh my God, we only have 3 weeks to get this together. And I kept
Yeah,
trying to.
you have to take credit for it too, because I wasn't I didn't get the old versus the new and everything. You did it, so this is Judy's doing. I get the easy part.
Well, I had to keep taking that voice and being like, I had to keep calming the voice, calm the voice. The affirmations, I love your affirmations because mine were like, it's going to be fine. Change is good. This is going to work out well. Everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
Continuously telling those affirmations to myself over and over and over again. Meanwhile, on the outside, it just looks like I'm being quiet because my daughter got home from college in this time and she was like, what's up with you? You're awfully quiet. I was very much in myself, trying to keep everything calm. Even asking myself, like, what are you worried about? This isn't your first rodeo. You've done Journeys with Judy. You have 3 seasons of that. And what's the big deal? And the answer was always like, I don't know. But this is a new adventure. And this is bringing a new element of, yes, Chris and I did a lot of laughing and, through the hard stuff. But the structure of this show is different. So, though it may be uncomfortable at first, I'm a true believer that change always ends up being best for all involved. And I feel like that's what we are going to witness unfolding, because this is stretching you outside your comfort zone. It's stretching me outside my comfort zone, and the one thing, there are a few things Janice and I committed to, but the show will be fun. The show will share some inspiring stories, and we hope you walk away learning something.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Yeah. So, before we wrap
speaking of keeping this going, I get to do my part now.
Oh, yes, you
did you notice the T-shirt? This is our
did.
logo. Judy and I donate our time to do this. We don't get paid for this. We do have expenses, so we are hoping we'll get donations. We're tax deductible 501c3 program. And if you go on our website, at the bottom of our website, which is peacefulempowermentworks.org, peacefulempowermentworks with the S at the end.org. That's our website. At the bottom is donate. And what we'd like to do is I bought a Cricut machine. And so what I'd like to do is if you donate at least $25, I will send you one of my T-shirts I made. So this is what the different colors now. This is the front and this is the back. You see?
Yep.
Okay. That's our T-shirts. And yes, I had quite a few scraps and throwaways before I got this. If you donate at least $50, we'll send you a sweatshirt as a thank you. And again, I'm doing it. So it's all made with love and care. And it's, we hope you can support us so that we can actually pay for the time and so we'll get, things we need to get.
Exactly.
But we appreciate any support. It's easy to do. You donate, you can get tax credit for it. And I'm going to send you something.
And
just email me.
Perfect.
Just email me after you donate. And my email is peacefulempowermentworks@gmail.com. It was available. Yay. Gmail. Yeah. Wow. So it is available. So to find us, all you have to remember is Peaceful Empowerment Works, the name of the program. Of course, we have a little more to the show, but we're there. That's our website name. That's our Gmail address. And we can talk about different colors and sizes and see what we can do.
Yes. And anybody who is listening on a podcast or not able to see Janice's shirt, she has the butterfly logo on the front, and on the back is the full logo with the work, Peaceful Empowerment Works. She did an outstanding job with them. And, she's picked this up in the past, month? While all this change is going on, she has embraced a new craft as well. And anybody who is watching and can see the quilts behind Janice, she does that too. She's very crafty.
It's a new thing. This is just since COVID. I've never made a quilt before.
Okay, and is this something you picked up during COVID in the craziness of COVID to bring you peace?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a whole thing to being creative in your life that it does help. That's what I didn't realize it at the time. It did give me something to do. I felt like it was just keeping me busy, but I think it did a little more than that. It's just being creative and letting those energies out.
Perfect. So before we wrap up, I am an intuitive counselor. So I receive intuitive messages once in a while, and I was guided to do an intuitive message for the collective today. And that intuitive message is, when you feel that your attention is being pulled in a million different directions, pause, take a few deep breaths, and ask yourself, what is worthy of my attention right now in this moment? When you hear your answer, allow 100% of your attention to focus on that one thing. It is time to shift from being a jack of all trades, master of none, to a master of one to get it done. Okay. And we want to thank you for choosing to be here now with us. We believe presence expands perspective and invites in peace. So thank you. We hope to see you next week. Unfortunately, Janice will not be able to be with us next week because she's got a a 9 to 5. She has to do the first Thursday of every month. So I have my friend Heather Sheets joining us, and she's going to talk to us about sound healing and how that has brought peace to her life. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, Janice. Thank you.
Bye, Judy.